What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I've got a really nice new Transformers card to show you. Now, this card was officially revealed by the lovely Landon Dastrup over at TCG Rollout on Twitter. Lovely dude. Really knows his Transformers stuff. Do me a favour, right? We love Landon. He's one of our favourites here. And I mean that very sincerely. Drop him a follow on Twitter, would you? Because you'll see cool Transformers stuff. And other cool opinions. So, drop him a follow, would you? He's shown us more guns. Good name for a card? I don't know. Good card. Oh my goodness, yes. It is a Stratagem card, which is to say that it costs at least 1 star, in this case exactly 1 star, and it starts the game out, and it boosts one of your characters at least. And this one boosts your Weaponizers. It reads, once per game, when one of your Weaponizers in upgrade mode is put into your KO area, return it to the battlefield, upgrading one of your characters. Flip this. When you flip it, you will see the artwork, which is just the backside of the card, but it's the artwork without any obstruction. It's really quite cool. And it means it then cannot be used again. Yes, it's a little bit sad. Yes, of course, we'd like to use it more. But make no mistake about it, this is a phenomenal use. Now, it's only for Weaponizers, right? You ain't playing a Weaponizer, don't play this card. Simple as that. But my first thought here is COG. Now, one of the things we need to do here is we need to differentiate between Battle Masters and Weaponizers. And we saw this before with the card Quartermaster. Quartermaster let you move an upgrade from one of your characters to another, or put a Battle Master from your KO area onto one of your characters. Okay. The thing is, we couldn't use it with COG because COG was a Weaponizer. Well, now COG's got his own trick. COG's like, in your face, mate. Now I've got my own trick. Except, yes, and I know it costs a star, right? And costing a star sucks. But also, it means that you don't have to put an extra card in your deck. And also, and this is one of my favourite things about Stratagem cards, it's there. Maybe one day in the future we will have a mechanic that gets rid of Stratagem cards. As it stands at the moment, from what we've seen from Wave 5 so far, we don't. What that means is you are going to get it. You are going to be able to use it. So let's go back to COG and see why it's going to be so good. You see, COG's a pretty good character. Now, it is a 10 cost. And the stats are alright, 4, 12, 1, but it's a range character, and we like range characters. Range characters open up things like Armed Hovercraft and Marksmanship for cheeky damage, which, they're good cards that tend to see a fair amount of play. We like this is good. But the thing we really like about COG is when it gets KO'd. COG turns into Heavy Force Defense Breaking Cannon. It gives you +4 attack, which is right up there with Grenade Launcher, except Grenade Launcher falls off at the end of your turn and this doesn't. It's phenomenal for giving extra attack. And then when you put it on a character, you draw a card for each character you have on the battlefield. Then you may play an upgrade onto each of your characters. So let's say, for argument's sake, you're doing that thing that so many people are doing at the moment. You are playing COG with the Airstrike Patrol. Not saying anyone should or is going to play COG with the Airstrike Patrol. It's certainly not the most common use for them, but it is a nice little trio of characters that sees a bit of play and love by themselves, so I'm going to allow the example. And it is just an example. We're going to be okay here. You've got 3 characters, and assuming COG is the first one to go down, and given that these characters all have stealth while untapped in alt mode, you can kind of force your opponent into attacking. So, then this goes down, you draw 3 cards, that's good. As a side note, drawing 3 cards is Universal Network Access. An effect so strong it's literally a star card. And then you get to play 3 upgrades. And remember that the characters we're talking about in terms of the Airstrike Patrol, they are all range characters, so you can play stuff like Armed Hovercraft, get some cheeky damage going, that would be fun. But then you see, your opponent's going to get rid of it. And this has always been the biggest downside of Battle Masters and Weaponizers. Your opponent can just get rid of the upgrade. Like if they play something like a ramming speed, it's gone. And that's a big problem. Just playing a simple battle card can just get rid of it. And then COG just goes back to a KO'd character. Bit sad. But hey ho. But that's where this comes in. Now, your opponent getting rid of Heavy Force to Brent's Breaking Cannon works for you. Because then you get to reattach it, and then potentially draw another free cards, and attach another free upgrade. Although if you're going to be doing this, do try and play cards like Treasure Hunt, etc., where they're going to be able to get your upgrades out of the deck, because as much as fun as attaching potentially 8 upgrades in 2 turns is, 3 each for attaching Cog, or Heavy Force to Breaking Cannon, and then 1 for your turn, you are going to need to actually have those 8 upgrades in your hand in order to actually play them. Otherwise, it's all just a little bit sad, quite frankly. So either you get to draw a bunch more cards and play a bunch of upgrades, or your opponent goes, ha 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 ha, I'm on to you. I'm not going to get rid of Heavy Force Defense Breaking Cannon so that you don't get to get the extra upgrades and drawing. Brilliant. I'll keep my permanent upgrade that gives me +4 attack. Sounds good to me. And now you're in an awkward situation. And there's no issue here of your opponent going, right, okay, here's the deal. I'm going to get rid of this now and hope that by the time you get to reattach it, I've taken a couple other characters out and it's nowhere near as good. Because remember, you could just use it immediately. Seriously, there are other Weaponizers, we'll talk about them in a second. But when Landon showed me this card, and as a side note, I'm uploading this fairly quickly after Landon uploaded it and posted it on Twitter. But to be clear, it is posted with not only the permission, but the encouragement of Landon. I told you, he's a lovely dude. Seriously, drop him a follow on Twitter. It's a good follow. Point here is, this was my first reaction. I saw this and I went, oh my goodness, it's Cog. This is great for Cog. Now, we did get a couple... Now, that was the only one, incidentally, in Wave 3. We've not seen any Weaponizers from Wave 5. We know we are getting non-Titan Master characters. Does that mean we're going to be getting a new Weaponizer of some description? We have absolutely no idea. But we did get just a couple of them back in Wave 4, so we should probably have a look. We got Sergeant Six Gun, and we got Raider Brunt. Now, as a side note here, these do, when KO'd, turn into 2 upgrades rather than 1. I feel extremely confident that you're only going to be able to get 1 of these back using the stratagem. I mean, if we look at the wording of the stratagem here, it clearly says, when one of your Weaponizers in upgrade mode is put into your KO area, return it to the battlefield, upgrading 1 of your characters. And bearing in mind, when Six Gunner and Brunt go down, they can be put onto different characters, etc. It's just, I feel very confident it's only 1. If we get a ruling, and I don't believe we've had a ruling on this, if we get a ruling that says this can get back both halves of a Weaponizer, it becomes infinitely better, and Brunt and Six Gun become a little bit nuts. So starting off with Brunt then, we've got a 3 attack, 10 health, 2 defense, 11-star character. But it turns off bold and tough more than 1, which is pretty good for your opponent. And then it turns into TTC HP Oblivio Launcher. A weapon gives you +3 attack and bold 1, very good for attacking. And it turns into TTC HD Turret Armor, which gives you +2 defense and tough 1. Yeah, that's pretty gosh darn good for defending. So obviously in this situation, you would use a stratagem to get back whichever one was more appropriate. If you needed more attacking, you get back the weapon. If you need more defending, you get back the armor. There was a side note, if you use more guns to get back an armor, feel a little bit ashamed of yourself. Now, in terms of Sergeant Six Gun, we got a 4 attack, 10 health, 1 defense, 9-star character. And when you attack, you may scrap a weapon from your hand and get an attack bonus equal to the stated attack bonus. So the classic example we've all gone for here is Grenade Launcher. If you scrap Grenade Launcher, you get +4 attack. And Sergeant Six Gun is full bore aggro, make no mistake about that. It then turns into MTX M2 Anti-Gravity Cannon, a +1 attack weapon that gives Pierce 4, which is pretty huge. And it turns into MTX S2A Guided Missile Launcher, which gives you +3 attack, but can go into an armor or utility slot, leaving your weapon slot open for another weapon. That's kind of ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. So again here, do you want the extra attack or do you want the pierce? And that should give you the answer as to which one you actually get back here. This is awesome. This is a really fun stratagem. I mean, if you're playing Weaponizers anyway, this is a no-brainer. Anytime you want to play Cog, unless there is a really specific character that you desperately need to play, and it's going to take you to the 25-star limit, I really don't understand why you wouldn't play this. It just seems awesome. Will this be enough to play something like 6-gun that hasn't seen a huge amount of play yet? I don't know. Certainly it makes them a lot better, and I certainly think it's worth a star. Cog has seen more play than any other Weaponizers, and I think it's a no-brainer with Cog, unless you really cannot spare the star. As for the others, I suppose it's going to be fun to see. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like your opinion. Do you think this is going to make 6-gun or Brunt good enough to play, or do you think they're still going to be just a little bit underpowered? Do you think this makes you feel differently about Cog? Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk Transformers and a whole bunch of other games. And do please consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, all that fun stuff. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.